Well, good evening, and thank you for joining us on Facebook Live tonight. This is kind of a special thing that we've only done just a couple of times, and so we thought what we would kind of do is get on here and have story time. And what we said kind of this morning was that we really don't care to confuse too many people because you got to click on the morning show page to listen to something that's going on at night. So we want to introduce our friend and author, and also my daughter Janae, who wants to say hi back there. There you go. So you're going to be here for story time the whole time. Sounds good. You got your pajamas on. Very good. So if you make a comment here in this broadcast, you can enter to win the book that Glenys Nellist is going to be reading tonight, called "I Wonder," and she is joining us tonight from Michigan. So good evening, and thanks for being with us.
Hi, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So Janae and I have been reading this book since you sent this to us a month or two ago. I Wonder. It's called "Exploring God's Grand Story," written by Glenys Nellist, who's here with us tonight, and illustrated by Alessandra Fusey. Is that how you say that?
I believe so, yes. We've
Okay.
never met, but I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Wow, that is really cool. And what a beautiful job that Alessandra has done, right?
Oh, I know it. Yeah, her illustrations are just wonderful. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love them.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. She's going to start reading here right around 7:35, or just right around there. So if you know anybody, if you want to share this Facebook post and just let them know, we're going to be doing some bedtime Bible stories tonight, read by the author. Just go ahead and share this. And then also, if you make a comment and tell us something about yourself or where you're listening from, or if you have a favorite Bible story, that will enter you to win a copy of the book called "I Wonder." So, if you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and also a little bit about the concept of the book.
Sure, of course. Well, I live in Michigan. It was a beautiful day today. It stopped snowing, but I think it's coming tomorrow. So I live in Michigan, but as your viewers can hear, I'm not from America. I was born in England and we came to the United States. I'm married to a pastor, and we came to the United States 20 years ago and just fell in love with it. And I was working in a church as a children's minister, and buying curriculum was expensive. And so I thought I might try writing my own. And that's really what started me off on this exciting journey as an author. And I just fell in love with the way there's always a new way to tell the old stories of the Bible. And so my first book was published in 2014, and that was a book of Bible stories, and it was called Love Letters from God. I don't know if Janae has seen this one, but Janae, would you like one? I can send you one of these books if you like, because this one has got Lift the Flap love letters inside. When you open it, you can lift up the flap and put your name in the love letters, and they're from God. That might be what God might say to you about the story. So I'll send you one of those. Anyway, that was my first foray into the publishing world. It was a lot of work, and Zonda Kids are a wonderful publisher, the same publisher that published I Wonder. But that's what I just fell in love with, rewriting the Bible stories, and that's what started it all out. And so I Wonder was published just in September of last year, so it's still pretty new. And this one has got 30 stories, 15 from the old and 15 from the new.
Awesome. And so it would be great to know, and we'll hear it here in just a minute as we're getting ready to. She's going to share. She even let Janae pick her favorite story in the book, so maybe we'll kick off with that. But so, can you just describe what the "I Wonder" book is, and how is it different from other children's Bibles?
Yeah. Well, as you know, there are so many children's Bibles. There's just a plethora of them, and um, but I think what makes I Wonder special is it's it's really an invitation. I hope that this book invites children to really wonder about the stories and wonder about who God is and where God is, and just to embrace the mystery of the wonderful stories of the Bible. And so each of the stories is followed by 3 I wonder questions, and you'll get to hear some of them, because I just wanted to move away from the idea of teaching children what I know about God and inviting them to discover God for themselves. So that's my goal. I hope it encourages children to just make meaning out of mystery.
That is so cool. And we do so every time we read that story, you have those questions there at the end that says, I wonder, and we'll hear what it is here in the story that you're going to read for us in just a minute. So
Yeah,
it's really cool.
and you know, because there's no, in the I wonder questions, it's not a simple yes or no, it's not like a closed end. It just leaves room for that wondering.
Yes, absolutely. Employing our creativity and our imagination as we bring that to the stories that God gives us in the Bible. So if you
Right.
comment here, we'll say hi to a couple comments, and then she'll actually share a story here in just a moment. But we have some people checking in and saying hello tonight. So Brandy wants to say hi. Glenys and Jonathan joining tonight from Champaign with their 4-year-old. So hello. Want to say hi to the 4-year-old? That's my
Hi, we're
daughter
glad you're
Tamara there.
here.
Jeff is checking in and saying hello, listening in place of bedtime stories tonight. So this is bedtime stories with the 2 boys, Jacob and Noah from Manuka. So you want to say hi to Jacob and Noah?
Hi, Jacob and Noah.
Anne is saying hello from Carlisle, and Melinda from Terre Haute. And you ready to get going? You ready to start? All right. So what are we going to be hearing here?
Well, Janae chose one of my favorite stories, which is the very first story in the I Wonder Bible. And it's actually the very first story in the entire Bible. It begins where all the Bibles begin, and it's I wonder about creation. So this is the story of how God made the world, how the world came into being. And so just before I read, I'll just give you a little peek. Look at the first page. Uh-oh. Did Alessandra Fusey forget to draw anything there?
Nothing there, right? Wow.
She
Yep.
didn't forget. It's because in the very beginning, there was nothing. And that's what you'll hear in a second. And then on the next page, I'll just show you. This is when the world starts coming alive with the water and the seas and the mountains. And then this is the last page of the story. This might be your favorite page if you like animals, when the world was filled with animals and life and sounds. So I'm going to read to you, I Wonder About Creation. No one heard the word. The birds didn't hear it. The trees didn't hear it. The mountains didn't hear it, because they had not been created yet. The word came soft like a whisper when there was nothing. The word came into an empty world where it hovered and hung over the darkness of the deep. And just for a moment, there was nothing but silence. And when the time was just right, God's voice echoed into the silence and whispered the world into being. Let there be light. And an amazing thing happened. The light was listening. The light heard the word, and the light came. The light came flooding and leaping and dancing into the darkness, chasing away all the shadows and shining into every corner. And it was so good. Fish splashed in the oceans, and eagles soared through blue skies. Monkeys swung from tree to tree as caterpillars crept and sloths slept. There were wriggles and roars and stomps and snores, screeches and howls and gallops and growls. and God's wonderful world was filled from top to bottom with wonderful life. Everywhere God looked, every bit of space and every corner of creation was filled with the sounds and the colors and the movements of life. And it was all so very good. God smiled. The world was ready now, ready for what God was about to do next. And the whole world held its breath and watched in wonder as God bent down, scooped up the dust of the earth, and blew on it gently with the breath of life. And from the dust, in the palm of God's own hand, God's children were born. Isn't that amazing how God made us, God's children, from the dust of the earth? And here's some little questions for you to wonder about as you heard that story and think about it. I wonder if God still whispers. I wonder which part of creation God enjoyed the most. I wonder how God could make life out of dust. And I wonder how far God had to bend down to reach the dust.
We got an opinion back here. Which one did you want to do? You wondered how which part of creation God enjoyed the most? Which part? Say it loudly so they can hear you.
The children.
Oh, the children.
Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful, Janae. I love that. Yeah, because I was thinking that you might say the animals, but of course God enjoyed the children the most. Yeah, that's beautiful. See, this is what I love about kids, that's why the kingdom of God belongs to such as these.
That's the truth. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. And so this is our friend Glenys Nellist, who has written this beautiful. Can I borrow that for just one more minute to show the people? It's called I Wonder, Exploring God's Grand Story. And it's an illustrated Bible. Did you say there's 30 stories in here?
Yeah. It's split evenly. There's 15 from the Old Testament and 15 from the New. Yeah.
Excellent. So if you make a comment, and especially if you've got kids or you don't have kids watching tonight, tell us who they are and who's watching, and that'll enter you to win a free copy of the book. And if you win that, we'll contact you and mail that to you. So we want to say hi to Jackie. Jackie is listening tonight with her 6-year-old and 9-year-old Keegan and Mason. You want to say hi to them?
Hi, Keegan and Mason.
And that's Renee back there. I think we might both have a couple of relatives on here, possibly even because hi from Mom we have. Say hi to Mom.
Hi, Grandma.
Oh.
This person, here we have David Nellist. I Wonder is a beautiful children's Bible.
Now, he's a little biased,
Yes. Somebody, it's Brandy. Yep, Brandy said, so sweet, Janae. Great answer. She liked your.
Yeah, that was so beautiful. Yeah.
I love it. And then Camilla also is listening with her 9-year-old daughter in Beecher City. So thank you for joining us. And they're saying hi back to you as well. So would you like to do one more reading for us tonight?
I would love to. So what I'm going to do, since I started at the very beginning, I'm kind of going to flip, not to the very end. The book, this Bible closes with a little epilogue that says, I wonder about you. And so because I think that God wants a response from us, when we read the Bible. And so I wanted to invite children to think about what their part is in God's grand story, because we all have a part in that story, But I'm not going to read the epilogue, but I thought, since Easter is coming, we're in the season of Lent. And I think I'd like to read, I wonder about the day Jesus came back alive. And if you are good listeners and you're perceptive, you might be able to hear a line in this story that is the same as one of the lines from the creation story. So I don't want to put Janae on the spot, but I might put you on the spot, Jonathan.
What page are you on there?
I'm on page, let's see, hang on a second. I wonder about the day Jesus came back alive, and it's page, oh my gosh. Just give me a second. I can't even see. Hang on.
We're getting our books coordinated
That's
here.
it. That's the one. There you go.
You hold it up. There you go. Ooh.
It is page 180.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Page 180.
All
And
right.
I don't know. I'm just interested to see if you hear one of the same lines that was in the creation story, because that was important to me. And it's fine if you don't, and I'll tell you what it is if you don't spot it.
Okay.
And so this, of course, is Mary Magdalene's story. She, the first preacher of the gospel, the one who got to see Jesus after he came alive. And so this is from John 20, verses 1 through 18. And I love the way Alessandra Fusey did Jesus in this luminous color, So I wonder about the day Jesus came back alive. It was still dark when Mary Magdalene woke. She opened her eyes and remembered sadly what had happened just 3 days before. Her best friend, Jesus, had died. Mary had seen him die on the cross. She'd followed Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus as they'd carried his body to a quiet cave on the hillside. She'd stayed there and watched them roll the big stone over the entrance. Mary had been with Jesus to the very end, and now she would go back to the cave and anoint his body with perfume. But what Mary didn't know was that high on the hillside, the sun had already started to shine again. The sky was blue and bright and beautiful. No clouds could be seen. Only sunlight and hope and joy whispered in the air. And on that promise-filled morning, before Mary arrived at the tomb, what would have been impossible for anyone except God happened. Jesus came alive again. Jesus stepped out from the dark cave and with a big smile on his face, said hello to the world. Good morning, world. Good morning, trees. Good morning, sun. Good morning, seas. Good morning, friends. Good morning, Mom. Good morning, God. New life's begun. When Mary arrived at the cave, she knew something had happened. The big stone was gone. And when she peeked inside, she saw that Jesus' body was gone too. Mary sank to her knees in despair and began to cry. But above the sound of her sobs, someone was calling her name. Mary turned around and saw a man who she thought must be the gardener. But only one person said her name like that. Mary, Mary, it's me, it's Jesus. Suddenly, Mary's sadness was gone. Into her world, the light came, flooding and leaping and dancing into the darkness, chasing away all the shadows and shining into every corner of her heart. Jesus was alive. Go, Mary, Jesus said softly. Go and tell the disciples the good news. And Mary ran without stopping to the upper room in Jerusalem. She burst through the door and told the disciples what she had seen and heard. Jesus was alive, and now Mary and all the disciples had work to do. They had to go out and tell the whole world the wonderful story of Jesus. And they did. And here's your I wonder questions. I wonder how I would have felt if I'd peeked into that empty cave. I wonder how Mary felt when she realized that Jesus really was alive. And the last one, I wonder what that story has to do with my life.
Right. Excellent. That was beautiful. Yeah, we're here. We are in the season of Lent, so that's very appropriate for where we're at and where we're headed. So, did you want to
Yeah.
ask all those questions, Jane? Which one?
Number one.
Number one. I wonder how I would have felt if I'd peeked into that empty cave.
Scale.
You'd be scared. Why would you be scared?
Okay.
You don't like caves.
There's a monster.
There might be a monster in there.
Isn't that right, Janae? You don't know what's in a cave, and it was dark, and she was by herself. You're right. I think I would have been scared too. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, if did anybody catch? You said there was a line in that story you just read that coincided with the first story of creation.
Yep.
Did anybody catch that? If you caught that, if you're the first person to say it, we will make you one of our winners. So while people wait to do this,
I thought.
well, you know what it was? What was it? You'll have to, maybe you can look at it. All right, but first we have to say hi here to Sherry from Sheridan, who's watching with 3 and 5-year-old grandsons Riker and Rylan. So you want to say hi to Riker and Rylan?
Hi, Riker and Rylan.
All right.
Hi, boys.
Well, do you think you know what it was? There was no stopping God. I don't think it was that one, was it? No, it wasn't that one. I didn't get it. I was listening close and I couldn't figure it out, and I don't see anybody coming in here with it.
It's fine. Shall I tell you?
Yeah.
So it was this line where it says, where Jesus is stepping out of the tomb, and it says this: into her world the light came, flooding and leaping and dancing into the darkness, chasing away all the shadows and shining into every corner of her heart. Well, that's a mirror. That's the same line from the creation story when God made the light.
Okay.
Yeah, just right there, see, on page 12, it says, the light came flooding and leaping and dancing into the darkness, chasing away all the shadows and shining into every corner. Yeah, just because, you know, the light, Jesus is the light. That's it, Janae. And Jesus was there with God when the world was made. So I always think of Jesus being the light and bringing all the light into the world. And then being full of light at the end when he came back alive.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
This is a great book. We highly recommend it, don't we? And it's called I Wonder, Exploring God's Grand Story. You don't want to click anything there. That might disconnect us. So if you leave a comment, if you haven't yet, and we're going to choose some winners, and we will send that to you in the mail, and you win this copy, Janae. Congratulations. Well, thank you for joining us from Michigan tonight, and that was really a special times. And thank you to everybody for tuning in and doing story time with us. And anything else you want to say?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being with us, Glenys. This was really a great time.
Well, thanks so much for asking me. It was a joy, and I'm really glad to meet Janae and know that she enjoys the Bible. That's really wonderful.
All right. Yes, beautiful. Oh,
did you see, Jonathan? It just I know we're out of time, but I was so thrilled because it just was mentioned in one of the recommended resources by Outreach Magazine.
Oh,
one of the recommended books for 2022. So yeah, and there were only 2 children's books, so that was a real joy for me. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I hope that causes lots of people to be able to check this out. So
Yeah, me too. Thanks.
Well, good night to you and good night to all. And we'll have to do this again sometime. So thanks again for being here.
Oh, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye, Jenny. Bye-bye.